Alright, this is 6.2 in your textbook. We're looking at the equation of a line in standard form. ax plus by plus c equals 0. Alex.
Have you heard of the Beatles? They were a very famous musical group in the 1960s. Perhaps your parents or grandparents listened to them. Their music was so popular that you could still hear many of their songs on the radio today. Compare the following two sentences. The Beatles wrote several big hits. A number of big hits were written by the Beatles. These two sentences mean basically the same thing, but the way they are written, each sentence has a slightly different emphasis. Which sentence places greater emphasis on the Beatles as a group, the songs that they wrote?
Alright, what do you think, Alex?
The Beatles several big hits. I think the Beatles as a group, the first one's like emphasized that one more.
Yeah, I agree.
And the second one was the songs that they wrote.
Why?
Because they mentioned it like first in the sentence, I guess.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. So basically it's mentioned first, the Beatles wrote several big hits, and then a number of big hits were written by the Beatles. So the emphasis is kind of changed, but basically it's the same thing. The reason why we went through this whole exercise talking about the Beatles and sentence structure and comparing the two is because this equation here looks similar and has the same information as another equation that we've learned. Who knows what it is? Robert.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Is it the Pythagorean theorem?
No. Tim, what do you think?
The y equals mx plus b.
Excellent, yeah. So this equation, you might not see it quite yet, but it's the same. It's just rearranged as the equation y equals mx plus b, and they've changed the name of m and little b in this case. But y and x are still there, okay? And that's the important part. So what we're going to see is how this equation relates to y equals mx plus b. Okay, so that's what we're going to learn about. So it says, how can you write the equation of the line using different forms? Consider the following equation that relates x and y. Do you think a graph of this relationship will be linear or non-linear? Explain why you think so. Matthew in the front. Linear or non-linear? What do you think?
Linear.
Why?
Because it goes up by certain intervals. It goes up by 3 and 4. Well, it doesn't go up, it decreases. It's subtracted by 4y.
Not quite. No, it's a good guess. But Luca?
There's no integers in the equation. That's why it's linear.
What do you mean? There's integers. What about the 8? What's the 3, the 4? Those are integers. Nicholas?
No exponents.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. There's no exponents. The highest degree, who knows what a degree is again? You guys remember that? What's degree? Sebastian, you remember?
It's 8. Oh no.
No. Justin?
It's 1.
Yeah, it's 1. What is it though? What am I talking about when I say degree?
The highest exponent.
Yeah, the highest exponent for the x term, okay? So in this case, the degree is 1. So Nicholas said there's no exponent. What he meant by that is there's no exponent greater than 1, right? There's no visible exponent there. So that tells us if the exponent is 1, the greatest exponent of x is 1. That means the equation is linear, okay? And we proved that in the previous sections by doing first differences. You guys remember that? First difference is all the same. It means that the relationship is linear. Okay? 2, you could find the y-intercept of any graph by substituting x equals 0 into the equation and solving the resulting equation for y. Find the y-intercept of this equation. So, if I substitute x equals 0 in here, that's what I get. Okay, does everyone follow along? Is that okay?
No.
Who said no? Joseph?
Yeah.
Okay. Which part? This goes to 0, right?
Yeah.
The 8 comes over, negative 8, right? Now I got to divide both sides by -4. Okay, Joseph? This goes away. -8 divided by -4 is 2. Okay? Follow it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You don't sound sure. AJ?
What does like y represent?
Y represents the value of y when x is 0. So the point that I found then is 0, 2. So what we found is the y-intercept. Okay? So if you want to know the y-intercept for any equation, you know on the y-axis the x value is 0. So you take that value of x and you plug it in into the formula for x and solve for y. That'll give you the y-intercept. Is that clear? And that goes for standard form. It also goes for equation of a line form. Yeah.
What's the point of that 0 on the other side of the equation on the right side?
Here?
Yeah.
Because it's part of the formula that was given. See? What's the point of it? Because that has to be there, because if you have, Kyle, say you have this, right? Sorry, Tyler, say you have this, right? Okay, and now you move everything over to the other side. So it's gonna be, right? You have to put a 0 here. There's gotta be something there. Okay? So in standard form, that's exactly what we're doing. If we look up here, Tyler, we've moved the y over. So what's left on the other side? It's a 0. Has to be 0. Okay? You say, what's the point of the 0? The point is that this equation and this, they're not the same things, right? Now, this is not actually an equation. When we say the word equation, we have to have an equal sign for there to be an equation. There needs to be an equality, right? We can't do anything with just this, right? We can't isolate, we can't move things around because there's no equality, there's no equation there. That's just a simple formula, right? There needs to be an equal sign for there to be an equation. So the point of equals 0 is that makes this an equation of a line. Okay? It gives all the variables meaning and values. Okay? If there wasn't an equal 0 there, then it would just be a formula. Alright, let's move on. So we found the y-intercept was 2. 3. Find the coordinates of 2 other points that are on the graph. Find the coordinates of 2 other points that are on the graph. Hint, if a point is on the graph, then its coordinates must satisfy the equation. So, we got 1 point, 0, 2. How do we find 2 other points? AJ. Okay, let me just recap before AJ, give it a shot. So to summarize, we've decided that this is a straight line, or it's linear relationship. We found the b value, or y-intercept, we said was 2. Okay? So we know then that 1 point is 0, 2. We want 2 more points. How can we figure that out? Alvin.
Substitute x, or was it a different number?
Yes, one number.
1.
Yes, why 1?
Because you'll get the next one.
Okay, why not 0.8 or why not 7?
Oh, the one's easy.
Yes, because it's easy. Okay? So, you could choose any value of x to substitute in to the equation and find out the y value. That'll give you another point. Why are we going to choose 1? Because it's the easiest one besides 0. Right? We already found 0. So now we're going to substitute x equals 1 in for x. Okay? So if we do that, we get 3 times 1. and we have to solve for y. So I'm going to move everything away from the y. Any questions there? Christian?
So in this equation, what does the C and the 0 represent?
Nothing yet. Okay? Nothing yet. The C is actually the y-intercept, but it needs to be divided first by what's in front of the y, which is b. I'm going to show you in a minute, okay? It'll make a little more sense. But for all intents and purposes, nothing meaningful at this point, okay? So there's our y value. So what's our second point? We got 1.02. What's our second point, Luca? Here.
1 and whatever the decimal 11/4.
Yeah, I'll just put 11/4. Yeah.
2.75.
Okay, 2.75. Sure. Okay, what's their next? How are we gonna get the next point, Henry?
You can substitute 2 for x.
Excellent. Yeah. So x equals 2 in here. Okay, so our third point is 2, 7. Any questions? Okay, so now we have 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And we can make a graph out of those 3 points, and we'll find out that it's a straight line. Yeah, Tyler.
So it's just a matter of plugging in whatever like number you want for the x value and then you figure out y. Like,
Exactly. Yes, that's right.
where do you get that 8 from?
It's right here, given.
I don't know, but where did they like get that from? That
They just made it up.
just made it up.
Yeah, it's just an example. Yeah,
For
Alex.
the x, if you put like 5, does that mean that it would be on the fifth like line on the x-axis or whatever?
Yeah, if you chose 5 for the x, you'd have to go over 5 on the x-axis, yeah, and then whatever y value you got, that's what you would plot. Okay? So, let's see, number 4. Plot all 3 points including the y-intercept. Do they line up? Yes, they do. 5. Use 2 points on the graph to find the slope of the line. Joseph.
Sir, would you always substitute a number in for x, or would you ever substitute it in for y?
Always for x.
For x, okay.
Always. Okay? Yeah.
Is the 8 the y-intercept? Or is the y the y-intercept?
8?
Yeah.
It's neither.
What is it?
It's nothing. So Christian asked that right now. There's nothing that the 8 is directly to the graph at this point. No. Okay? The y-intercept would be 8 divided by negative 4. Actually would be negative 8. The y-intercept is 2. But yeah, this standard form doesn't give you the direct information that y equals mx plus b gives you. Okay? It's just a different form. It's not giving you that information. Okay? So the 8 and the 0 are nothing right now. It's just part of the different form. Okay? Use 2 points on the graph to find the slope of the line. So, 2 points. Let's use 0, 2 and 2, 7/2. So 0, 2 and 2, 7/2. So here's my point 1, point 2. To find my slope now, I'm going to do y2 minus y1. Seven over 2 is 3/3.5 minus 2 is 1.5, so 3/2 over 2, which is equal to, when you divide a fraction by another fraction, you actually multiply by the reciprocal. 3 over 4. Yeah.
Isn't it way easier to just make it into a decimal?
Fractions are pretty easy as well. I don't know.
Okay. One decimal.
They're equivalent to me. If it's easier for you, that's fine. You could have made it to a decimal. It's pretty easy for me though. Yeah.
7 over 2, is that 3.5?
Yes.
If you do 3.5 minus 2, we're not 1.5.
Yeah.
2 is 3.4. 3 Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
So you do it with the decimal.
Sure. Okay.
That's easy.
All right. 6. Use the slope and the y-intercept to write the equation of this line in the form y equals mx plus b. Nicholas, finish it off for me. What is the equation of the line? Sorry? Number 6, the equation of the line. So it's in this form, y equals mx plus b. What are they now? We just solved for the slope, which was 0.75, and we solved for b, which was 2.
M is 3 over 4.
Yep.
Okay. So y equals 3 over 4x plus 2.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks. 7. Compare the equation you wrote in step 6 to the original equation in step 1. What can you tell about how these equations are related? So, here are my 2 equations. This one and this one.
So is there
I'll bring it up. Hold on. Yeah, thanks. Okay. What can we tell? We had all these questions. What is this? What is that? What can we tell? Adam.
well, the x, it's x over y divided by y. And then the 8 is also divided by the y value.
Yeah, Justin?
A or M equals A divided by B, and then C equals B divided by C.
M equals A divided by B. Okay. So that would give us, this is A, this is B. That would give us negative 3 over 4. So maybe we put negative here. Okay, and what was the other one you gave us? B is equal to
B negative. B
negative C.
Negative. C over.
Right? Negative C over B? Okay. Alright, so there is a relationship. We're going to go into more detail in the next example of how to actually find it though, okay? I know some of you guys got confused there. Let's look at this. Standard form. Sebastian. Go ahead, read Sebastian.
The standard form of
My
the
bag.
I don't know.